Hey guys, back with another Math with Max. My dogs are being crazy right now, so as soon as I get them to calm down and come over here, I will bring them. But right now they're being crazy. And let me show you. I think that's Rocky, right? Rocky. Max. Hey, Maxie. Max. Rocky, come here. Rocky, come here. Rocky. Come on. There he is. He's going to try to get back in that room. Look at him. Look at him. Rocky, come here. Rocky, come here.
Rocky, go to your mom.
Rockford.
He has like half his face.
He's so crazy. He wants to be in the room with his dad for some reason. Anyway. Okay, so close the door, babe, please. We just started like in 2 seconds. Alrighty, guys. Sorry about that. So we're back with another Math with Max. A little craziness at my house right now. My dog's been crazy. Anyway, so you should have... Oops, I lost the paper. You should have this packet out in front of you. Mine's not stapled, but it's the same thing. And I just want to go over a few questions with you because you do have your Math CBA on Tuesday. So I just want to make sure you're well prepared for that. You only have to get questions 1 through 10 done today. So don't worry about anything past question 10. You still have Monday to work on this. So we're going to work on it together on Monday. So 1 through 10 is on your own. Okay, Rocky's just trying to fall asleep now around me right now. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at number 1. And if you notice, number 1 was very similar to the one that was on your quiz. And I'm going to read it out loud. It says, Miss Hernandez joined the swim team at Ibarra Elementary. So far, she has swum in 4 races. Her times have been 59 and 200ths, 59 and 2/10ths, 60 and 300ths, and 59 and 2,000 seconds. See, the only difference between this question and the one that's on your quiz, I changed it up a little bit. And I said, which time is her second fastest? So, first of all, that word fastest is something that we need to remember. I talked to several of y'all about how you were getting it wrong because y'all are assuming that fastest means the biggest, okay? Remember I told you, if me and another teacher are racing from one end of the hallway to another and I'm trying to beat them, am I going to want to take a longer amount of time or a shorter amount of time? Of course, I want to take the shorter amount of time because that means I'm going to get there faster, right? So that means that I'm looking for a smaller number, not a bigger number. So faster means smaller, okay? Not bigger. So before I can figure out anything, I need to line up the numbers that are in the word problem there. So I'm going to go ahead and line those up. So the first one was 59 and 200. So I'm just going to line them up. And remember, I'm lining them up by their decimals. Okay, so 59 and 200ths, 59 and 2/10ths, 60 and 300ths, and then last but not least, 59 and 2,000. So you should have that on your paper right there. And actually, let me take a step back. Before we even begin to look at that one, I want you to go through every single one of these problems, and I want you to draw a line right here, 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 and here, and then do the same thing on all the other problems. I want like a little line right here because I want to see that you're going to show work twice on every single problem that you have. So then again, you would draw a line right here, and then so on and so on the rest of the page, on the rest of the questions, because it's really important, guys, that you show your work more than once. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, I already did it once. I know I'm right. Well, there's no harm in trying to do it twice because, I mean, why is, it's just a good thing to check your work, okay? We always want to check our work. Sometimes we think we're right, and it turns out we're way wrong. So just be sure. Just be positive. How can you be positive? Checking your work, okay? So going back to number 1, and I went ahead and I lined up my numbers, so this is what you should have as well. The 59 and 200, 59 and 2/10, 60 and 300, 59 and 2,000. As you can see right here, I went ahead and lined up my decimals like so. I'm not really worried about which one's on top. I'm not worried about anything like that, okay? the question is asking which time is her second fastest. So in this case, I'm not worried about which one was her fastest and her smallest. Remember, fastest equals the smallest number. Fastest equals the smallest number. But on this particular one, I changed it because I want to know what's her second fastest time. So that means I need to put these in order from fast to slow. Okay, so I'm going to look at my numbers, and I always want to start on my left side. So if I'm going from fast to slow, again, fast means slower. So I'm looking right here at my 5s because that 6 is going to be way too big. So that automatically tells me this is going to be her slowest time. Okay, this is going to be her slowest time. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one because I know that that's not going to help her win the race, okay? Or win a race or however fast that she's trying to go. 59 and 200s, 59 and 210s, 59 and 2000s is what we're left over with, okay? So let's, again, we have 5, 5, 5. Those are all the same, so I need to keep on moving. 9, 9, 9. Again, they're all the same. My decimals should be lined up. So these 5 9s, 5 9s, that means nothing to me. Because they're the same, I have nothing to compare, which is what we're doing right now. We're comparing each place value and the numbers that are in those place values. So next I have 0, 2, and 0. So I need to knock out this 2 because this 2 is greater than those 0. So I'm going to scratch out the 59 and 2/10. Okay. So that leaves me with these last two. That means that one of these has to be her second fastest time. Okay, so let's find her first one, and then from there we'll be able to tell which one is the second fastest. Okay, so again we have our 2 5s, our 2 9s. Again, those don't tell me anything. We have our 0s, doesn't tell me anything. But here we have a 2 and a 0. Again, if I'm looking for fastest, that means that's the smallest one, which means that this bottom one would be her fastest time. Okay, which means that this top one would be the only one that would have to be her second place time, okay, or her second best time. So 59 and 200s would be the second best time, and that would be answer choice. So I'm looking at this correctly. That would be answer choice A. So on number 1, we know the answer choice is A because that's her second fastest time. Okay, number 1, A. Alrighty. Let me see which other ones. I want to make sure that, let's definitely look at number 2. It says, which answer shows 18 and 356 thousandths rounded to the hundredths place correctly? So first of all, let's discuss place value, hundredths place, okay? So on my paper, I haven't written it yet, but I'll write it right now. I want to make a little T-chart that has all my decimal place values on it, okay? My decimal. We have our tenths, which is right after the decimal. We have our hundredths, remember that THS after. And then we have our thousandths. And then on the left side, I'm going to show you this right now, so don't worry. We have our ones, and then we have our tens, okay? So if I'm doing a decimal place value chart, it should look something like this. And I know that over here I could continue on with my hundreds, my thousands, my 10,000, 100,000, million, so on. But if this is my decimal, my very first place after the decimal is my tenths, my hundreds, and then my thousands. So if we're not sure how our place value chart should go, or if we get confused about where a number is in the place value chart, you need to make a place value chart so that you can see and check yourself, okay? So now that I made, and this is strategy. This is the strategies that I should see anytime they want you to round a decimal number to a certain place, or they're asking what number is in the tenths place, if they're asking what number is in the hundreds or the thousands, and so on and so on. So I should see a T-chart for any of those kind of questions. So what I want to do now is I want to fill in the number that they gave me. So the number that they gave me on number 2 is 18 and 356 thousandths. And what I like to do, guys, is I always want to find where my decimal should go, and I always fill in those places first, and then I come back. Or the opposite way, you can fill in the first two and then fill in the back. But find where your decimal should go first, and then work from there, okay? That always makes it easiest, and then you won't make any mistakes. And they want us to round this one to the nearest hundredths place. So if I'm rounding to the hundredths place, that is the place that they want me to underline. That is the place I want me to underline. So I want to underline the hundredths place, not hundreds, hundredths, the THS. So right here. So I'm going to underline this 5 right here. Okay. So my next step is that I want to circle the neighbor. So my 6 is my neighbor. Okay. And if you go back to your rounding notes, the next step that we need to remember is our rule for rounding. So our rule for rounding is that if we have 5 or more, we raise the score. 4 or less, we let it rest. And that particular rule applies to the number that is circled. So 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So since this is 5 or more, it's a 6. I want to give 1 more to my 5. Okay? I'm going to give him 1 more. So that means I'm giving him some power because he does have enough power. He has enough power to change this guy into something bigger. And this guy is going to change into 1 more, which gives you 6. So right here I'm going to write a 6. Okay. And everything behind him can become a 0, or you can leave it blank if you want to, but it'll be the same thing anyway. So I'm just going to put a 0 to show you that that place becomes a 0. It's like he gave away all his power, so he has to change into a 0. He becomes nothing. And then everything in front is going to stay the same because those numbers didn't change. It was only your hundredths place. They asked for the hundredths place. That's the one that's changing, okay? Everything else is going to stay the same in front. Okay. So that tells me that my answer is going to be 18 and 36 hundredths. So if I go to my question on number 2, 18 and 36 hundredths was answer choice C right there. C. Okay. So go ahead and answer on number 2C. Okay, which one do I want to do? Let's go ahead and look at number 4. It's talking about Anna. It's like, how did I find that name? You know, it just came to me, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and read that for you really quickly. It says, Anna is buying coffee from Starbucks for all of her teacher friends. She is buying drinks for herself and 3 of her friends. 2 of the drinks are $2.98, and the other 2 drinks are $3.98. What is the total amount that Anna will pay for the coffee? So she's going to the Starbucks. She can't just pay for 2 of the drinks and then steal the other 2. She has to pay for all 4 drinks that she's buying. The only difference here is that 2 of the drinks cost $2.98 and the 2 other drinks cost $3.98. So this is actually a 3-step problem because first you have to figure out the price of 2 of the drinks, figure out the price of the other 2 drinks, and then the question is asking, says, what is the total amount that she's paying for all the drinks? So I have to do 3 steps, multiply, and then add here. So my first one that I'm going to start with are the 2 drinks for $2.98. Okay. Now let me show you a mistake that I do not want. Well, first of all, let me write this out. $2.98 times 2. So you should have written this right here and make sure your decimal is bigger than mine. What I don't want to see and what I've seen in the past is, or what I've even seen that y'all write down, some of y'all are writing down that you have to line up your decimal. So some of y'all are putting a decimal here, and let me show you what you're doing and it's wrong. Okay, some people, and not everybody's doing this, some people are doing this. It's 298 times 2, and so you're putting this. And that's wrong. You don't have to go through all of that because when you're multiplying decimals, you don't have to move your decimal to the end. So there's nothing to line up. Lining up decimals is only for adding and subtracting. So just make sure that you don't have to worry about lining them up when you're multiplying. That is only, I repeat, only for adding and subtracting, okay? So you don't have to do this. So this right here is, get out of here. That guy's wrong, okay? I'm going to go ahead and use this space above to solve this one out because this is the correct way to solve. So first, I don't have to do a turtle head on this one either because I'm only multiplying times 1 digit. The turtle head and the pizza is when you have 2 digits down here and we only have the 1. So I'm going to start with the 2 times 8. Okay, if you know your 8s, 8 times 2 should give you 16. And I'm going to carry my 1 over. Okay. Next, I'm moving on to 2 times 9 plus the 1. So 2 times 9 gives me 18 plus 1 more gives me 19. And again, I want to carry that 1. Okay. Here we have 2 times 2 plus 1 more. 2 times 2 gives me 4 plus 1 is 5. And then I have 2 decimal places. Starting from my back, I'm going to go bloop and then bloop. This number does not have a decimal, so I don't have a third wave. I only have the 1 and the 2. Which means that when I get to my answer, I'm only going to make that same 2 waves. I'm not dropping down the decimal. I am not dropping down the decimal. I repeat, it's not the same thing when you're multiplying. When you only drop down the decimal when you're adding and subtracting. So I want to make my waves 1 and 2. Okay. So the cost of the first 2 drinks is $5.96. So that's only the first step because I've only solved for 2 of the drinks. So let's go ahead and find out the price of the other 2 drinks. And it says that she's going to pay $3.98 for each of the other 2 drinks. And again, she's buying 2 of them. So I want to set that up. That's going to be $3.98 times 2. I could add $3.98 twice, but I mean multiplying is way easier, right? So again, I'm going to do the 2 times the 8, which gives you 16. And I'm going to carry over that 1. Then I'm going to do the 2 times the 9, which is 18, plus 1 more gives you the 19. And then you have 2 times 3 gives you 6, plus 1 more gives you 7. And then again, I have 2 decimal places here, so 1 and then 2. So in my answer, I'm going to move in 1 and 2. Okay. So the cost of the other 2 drinks are $7.96, and the cost of the first 2 drinks were $5.96. And now it wants to know the total for all 4 drinks that she's purchasing. So I can simply add these together. So I'm going to take my $7.96, and I'm going to add that with the $5.96. Now, I am adding these now. So this is where I line up my decimals, not when I'm multiplying, when I'm adding or subtracting. And right now we are adding. Okay, so I want to add the 6 plus the 6. That gives me 12. Carry the 1. The 9 plus the 9 plus the 1 more. So 9 plus 9 gives you 18. Plus 1 more would give you 20. And yes, you can drop down your decimal now because that's where it's going to go, right? And the last we have 5 plus 7 plus the 2 more. So 5 plus 7, 5 will give you 12, plus 2 more gives you 14. Okay. So I have a final answer of $14.02 for 4 coffees. Jeez, Starbucks, calm down, right? It's like crazy. Okay. And I did something wrong because I don't have that answer on my paper. Let's see. 6 plus 6 is 12. 18, 19. I know what I did. Yep. I'm not thinking. 9 and 9 gives you 18. Plus 1 more gives you 19. Y'all ever just wonder about me? Like, does she even know how to math? Seriously. It's like, what's going on with her, right? 7 plus 5 gives you 12. Plus 1 more gives you 13. So, you should have $13.92 as an answer. Oh my gosh, I'm like the worst math teacher ever. Just kidding. I love math. I make mistakes. So $13.92. It happens to everybody, right? Happened in my last video. Oh well, what are you going to do? So now, on number 4, that means that our final answer would be a $13.92. Oh, Miss Valdez, what are you going to do with you? Just know what we're going to do with you, lady. Guys, also, if you need your journal, get it out. I mean, there's really no shame in having it out. There's no big deal. It's like literally no big deal. I don't know what. Okay, sorry. I don't know what's going on. My phone like just wants to keep like cutting off on me for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at number, I think it was 10. And if you write it down, it said 31, or look at it, it says 31 minus 22 and 487 thousandths. Anyway, I wanted to go through this one because a lot of people were having mistakes on the quiz for this one, which I thought was kind of crazy. So the thing you need to remember is that 31 is a whole number, which means 31's decimal is hiding behind the 1. So you should have, if you were to write it in, you would have 31 with a decimal behind it, okay? And we're subtracting the 22. Again, we're subtracting, so we need to line up those decimals. So that's what you have to remember. That's why I keep pushing it so much. Adding and subtracting is to line up your decimals. So we're subtracting 22 and 487 thousandths. Okay, so that's what we have right now, which means that in these places I need to put in zeros because you cannot just drop down the 7. You cannot just drop down, it's not how math works. I don't know the way to say it. You have to put in zeros and you're going to have to borrow from the whole number, okay? So on top of my 4, my 8, and my 7 should be zeros, just like that. Okay, so I always say this whenever people just drop down the 7 without thinking. I tell them, if I have 0 puppies, can you take 7 puppies away from me? No, you can't. It's not nice. So you're going to have to borrow all the way from this one because there's nothing here to borrow from. So got to go all the way to that one. That one's going to become a 0. Okay, so basically what it's saying is that this one is giving all the power to this guy, and this guy needs to give his power to this one and needs to give it to this one. So these become 9s and this one becomes a 10. Okay, the last guy gets all the power. So 10 minus 7 leaves you with 3. 9 minus 8 leaves you with 1. 9 minus 4 should leave you with 5. And then you can put down that decimal. So now again, now that we're over here, now we have the 0 minus the 2. But again, it's like if I have 0 puppies, can you take 2 puppies from me? No, you better not take Rocky and Max from me because you can't. You're going to have to go borrow more puppies from your friend. So that 3 is going to give some of its power away. So that 3 is going to become a 2. And the 0 next to it is going to become a 10. So now we have 10 minus 2 is going to give you 8. Okay, and then 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, so now we have 8 and 513 thousandths. So just make sure that when you go to bubble this in, you bubble it in correctly, okay? That's all that I'm going to do with you guys. Like I said, you only have to get numbers 1 through 10 done. And then when you're done, go to your class basket and get out the handout that we started yesterday, which was the simplifying fractions. Remember, you have to get questions 1 through 12 done before you can start highlighting. So if you have time, go get that paper and finish it so that you don't have as much work to do on Monday when I see you again, okay? I hope this was helpful. So again, questions 1 through 10. If I'm not seeing you today, it's because I'm at a training, so make sure that you have your decimal times decimal essay done. In fact, if you don't have it done, do that first before doing the simplifying fractions, guys. There's absolutely no reason why any of that package shouldn't have been done, especially since we did it 3 weeks ago. Okay, I can't be your keeper all the time and tell you how to do things, so you need to be on top of your assignments. That is part of being a leader in me school, and it's part of you being a leader and being responsible. Okay, so anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. If I don't see you, I'll see you in the afternoon or in the morning. I'm not really sure if I'm going to the training, when I'm going to the training. So just have a really great day, guys. Okay, love you. Bye.